Welcome to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo with the April 3rd, 2024, 216th edition, always broadcasting from the Cellmark Studios. Colleen Daniel is in Studio West. We are here with the About Mansfield news team. Coming up, this is the week we've been waiting years for. The solar eclipse is finally here, and we'll talk about it in this week's edition, including Mansfield news, talk, and information.
And a little later in the episode, you will have a chance to win a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice with our Mansfield trivia question, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance.
Let's take a look at the stories we're covering this week.
School board investigates the eligibility of a candidate.
Mansfield ISD administrator announces retirement.
Mayor Michael Evans compares Eclipse notes with the mayor of Mansfield, Ohio.
Mansfield Mission Center reaches out to community to help stock the shelves.
A small portion of the linear trail has been temporarily closed to make way for adjacent development.
In sports, legacy Lady Broncos triumph over Mansfield Lady Tigers in a thrilling softball match.
And in the talk segment, Steve talks in depth about Monday's solar eclipse with NASA retiree Dennis Webb. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
This is Paul Duncan with Trinity Solar Services. That's right, solar. Back in the 1960s, NASA used solar cells in their space missions. But get this, the very first solar cells were actually invented back in 1883. Solar energy has made great strides over the past 140 years, but one theme remains constant: solar works. Solar panels are the MVPs of renewable energy. While reducing carbon emissions and taking a stand against climate change, solar panels can also help to greatly reduce your electric bill. Trinity Solar Services is your sun-powered solutions, and we want to deck out your home with top-notch Tier 1 panels without breaking the bank. Reach out to us today for a complimentary quote. Trinity Solar Services is a Mansfield-based company that's all about building relationships through good old-fashioned, family-owned business values. Find us online at trinitysolarservices.com. That's trinitysolarservices.com.
Are you ready to take advantage of falling mortgage interest rates in the coming months? This is Roger with the Roger and Beth team. With housing demand predicted to increase across the DFW Metroplex, the Roger and Beth team are standing by to help move you and your family forward. No move in your future? That's okay too. It's time for your annual review of your real estate portfolio, and we're happy to help. Contact us at homesinmansfield.com. That's homesinmansfield.com.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
Hi, my name is Kenneth Rose. You are listening to About Mansfield.
In Mansfield ISD news, a recent development has stirred controversy as some residents are questioning the eligibility of a trustee candidate, Dr. Angel Hidalgo. Records indicate that Dr. Hidalgo, vying for place 2, was not registered to vote in Tarrant County when he filed his candidacy, a campaign violation. According to county records, Dr. Hidalgo, who serves as a Spanish instructor at Tarrant County College, registered to vote a week after the filing deadline, raising concerns about his compliance with state regulations. Texas law mandates that candidates must be registered voters in the jurisdiction where they are seeking office. At Tuesday's school board meeting, former trustee Daryl Sneed emphasized during public comments the need for a swift and thorough examination of Dr. Hidalgo's legal standing as a candidate.
I'm asking you all to personally take forth the effort to make sure that this is done quickly, is done thoroughly, and that is put out as quickly as possible so that going into the election, all people will have confidence that we'll not put anything to rest and that we're not sweeping anything under the rug.
Sneed urged transparency, asserting that the community deserves confidence in the integrity of the electoral process.
To me, integrity is very important. it's important for our students to have confidence that we as adults are not just saying one thing and doing another, but we are actually living by what we preach. And so I would just encourage us, each board member, to take this matter seriously. I don't know the persons involved. I just want to make sure that when I go to vote, I'm looking at someone who has been thoroughly vetted and is qualified.
Mansfield resident Ebony Turner echoed Sneed's sentiments, calling for Dr. Hidalgo's removal from the upcoming May 4th ballot.
Dr. Hidalgo should have never been placed on the ballot as a candidate. Since he was allowed to be a candidate, he should now be declared ineligible.
Turner expressed disappointment, questioning the board's commitment to upholding the law and advocating for the best interests of the district's children.
It is up to this board to act with integrity and do what is right, regardless of party affiliation, nepotism, or any other relationship. Dr. Hidalgo needs to be declared ineligible, which is well within the purview of this school board. To not makes the Mansfield ISD school board complicit in violation of the Texas election laws. How can we trust you to act within the best interest of our children if we can't trust you to follow the law?
In a statement released on Thursday, School Board President Courtney Lackey-Wilson said, quote, several complaints have been made to the board regarding the eligibility of a candidate in the upcoming May 4th election. The board is currently reviewing those complaints and consulting election officials to determine necessary course of action. As always, our primary concern is doing what's best for our district, unquote. Despite attempts to solicit a response from Dr. Hidalgo and his proponents, no comment has been forthcoming. The outcome remains uncertain as the Mansfield ISD community awaits further developments.
Nearly 28 years ago, Donald Williams began his career in school communications, with nearly a decade serving the Mansfield ISD community. His entire career has focused on sharing his district's good news, offering clear communications during times of transition and crisis, as well as championing all Texas public schools. Mansfield ISD Associate Superintendent of Communications and Marketing, Donald Williams, announced his retirement Saturday. In a letter to MISD educators, Mr. Williams wrote, quote, just like you, I believe deeply in the power of public education, and like yours, mine has been a career led by passion. It has also been a career that connects deeply with my faith. Education is a calling. Helping ensure every student has an equal opportunity to find success is a calling, and serving the MISD community has been a calling. End quote. Mr. Williams also stated that he is at peace knowing it is time to retire from his position as Associate Superintendent at the end of the school year and move into the next phase of his life, focused on family and faith.
As we are aware, the solar eclipse is happening on Monday, April 8th, and with us in the studio to talk about things going on around the city, we welcome our mayor, Michael Evans. Welcome back to the studio.
Good to be here, sir.
And also, in comparison, we are bringing in also the mayor from Mansfield, Ohio, Jody Perry. Welcome to About Mansfield.
Good morning.
First of all, we just talked about this off the air, but let's go back on the air. How is the weather today in Mansfield, Ohio?
Well, it is cloudy and rainy and not looking real nice out. Yesterday was beautiful, though.
Oh, it's typical solar eclipse weather.
Correct.
Let's start with some similarities here. Number one, I was looking this up on the map the other day. Mansfield, Ohio is about 30 miles away from the center line. And it turns out Mansfield, Texas is also about 30 miles from the center line. Our solar eclipse is going to happen at 1:39 Central Time in the afternoon. How about Mansfield, Ohio?
Ours is happening, I think it's 3:12 in the afternoon. So, yes, a couple hours after you guys.
3:12, but you're Eastern time, is that correct?
Well, that's true. Yeah, so about an hour.
Our eclipse is lasting about 3.5 minutes. And yours?
Same here. Yep.
Okay. Around some of the more populated areas, there have been some school closings. Are they closing schools in Mansfield, Ohio?
They are. Yep. I think just about every district in our county is closing for the day.
Well, Mayor, do me a favor and I just kind of whisper that because our school district's going to be open. And, I'm glad the kids aren't voters because they're going to be mad at me.
That's right. That's right. The Ross Perot Museum is providing all of the solar eclipse glasses for the school district.
Yes.
Which
that's cool.
Yeah. What about, I'm also hearing National Guard is being brought in for things like traffic control and crowd control. Is that affecting your city?
So I haven't heard, we've done a lot of emergency response planning. I haven't heard that. However, we do have a National Guard base in our community, the 179th Cyberspace Wing. So could be possible. I do know, we're right off of Interstate 71. So the state has kind of been handling the interstate planning. And then we've kind of taken the local city and county roads over.
Question for both of you. How do you plan to capitalize on the eclipse to promote tourism and local businesses?
I can tell you, Mayor Perry, from the Texas side of the house, we have been promoting this really for about a year. And all of our hotels are booked. We expect for our restaurants to be overflowing with people. We have a population here in Mansfield, Texas, right at about 87,000 people. So we believe that the traffic count and everything is going to be high. We've got viewing parties all over the city during the middle of the day. So we have been capitalizing on that just by, waving the banner, waving the flag. Come here, come to the great state of Texas, and let's see a once-in-a-lifetime event together.
Well, I think on Mayor Perry's come to the great state of Ohio.
I know she would say that. She better say that.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
I'm just saying. Well, and also, I know this about the mayor city, that your city is the carousel capital of Ohio, racing capital of Ohio, and also the filming location of one of my favorite movies, The Shawshank Redemption. So, now I know that you guys, y'all have a lot going for you, but let me tell you something. We're the pickle capital of the state of Texas. Now, you just need to know that.
I love it.
We have a pickle parade. We have pickle people. Listen, we are seriously green here, and we're excited about all of the good stuff that's going on in Mansfield, Texas.
I'm going to have to come down for the pickle parade one year.
Listen,
I think that sounds fun.
Let me tell you something. If you come one time, you'll come every year because it is a grand spectacle. I promise you that.
Back to Mayor Perry again.
Yeah.
To how do you plan to capitalize on the eclipse to promote tourism and local businesses?
So, we have similarly been having conversations for about a year. We are in a beautiful part of the country with the Great Lakes. And, sometimes the Great Lakes has a lot of moisture, which makes a lot of clouds. So I don't think that we want our hotels to be full. We are expecting they're starting to fill up. However, I think the really dedicated solar eclipse fans are what we're hearing is they're going south, where they have probably a better shot at clear weather. What we're expecting, though, is a big last minute surge. So, assuming that, we get to the Friday before and the forecast is looking good, we're expecting particularly, people from Pennsylvania, Indiana, places north, south, east, west of us to kind of make a last minute surge, which sometimes is even harder to plan for, to be honest, because, you don't have that long heads up. But we do have viewing parties going on. Actually, the Ohio State Reformatory, which was the main filming site for the Shawshank Redemption, they're doing, I think it's Eclipse in the Yard. So they're kind of doing some programming around that. And we've got a few other places that are pushing it. So I think it's going to be it should be a great day in Mansfield. We just need the weather to cooperate.
And Mayor Evans, with the coming Super Studio, our big film is coming soon.
Yes. We are opening ourselves here, Mayor Perry. We've got about 5 studio sound stages that will be opening here, along with 5 also 50,000 square feet mill spaces coming to a 72-acre plot of land. So, maybe when we talk in a couple of years from now, you'll be able to say, you know what, my favorite film was shot in Mansfield, Texas. So, so we're hoping to kind of match your fame.
Sure.
The solar eclipse obviously is a huge event. It's starting actually starts out in the Pacific Ocean, working its way through Mexico from Mazatlan up to crosses the border legally into Texas, and then up through and exiting the United States through Maine. I have to throw this out here. Did you know that there are 6 cities of Mansfield in the path of totality?
I did not.
I didn't know that either.
Mansfield, Texas, Arkansas, Indiana, Ohio, New York, and Mount Mansfield, Vermont are all within the path of totality.
Outstanding.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that there are more Mansfields in the path than any other city name.
That seems very probable.
Yeah. Listen,
I love Mansfield domination.
That's
I like it.
I like it too.
All right. Let's have some fun here for just a second before we go. If the solar eclipse had a theme song, what do you think that theme song would be? Let's start with Mayor Perry.
I mean, I cannot talk about the eclipse without thinking about Total Eclipse of the Heart by
Bonnie Tyler.
Yes, thank you, Bonnie Tyler. So I sing it in my head every time I talk about it. So I guess that would be it, but there's a lot of good choices.
Yeah, they are. Funny you would say that. I'm just thinking about really the ramp up here in Mansfield, Texas, regarding the folks coming to town, the restaurants just being overflowing with people. So I'm thinking, this might sound funny to you, but I'm thinking about Gonna Fly Now, the Rocky theme. When you think about it, because we're getting all pumped up and we're ready to receive the folks, and we're just kind of getting hyped here.
I like it.
All right, Mayor Evans, how would you rate our city's eclipse readiness on a scale from dazed and confused to stellar?
Oh, we are stellar. Are you kidding me? We are ready to do this thing.
Mayor Perry.
Well, I would say we're stellar, but we have a lot of skeptics still around here in terms of they're just why are you planning? It's going to be cloudy. So we're stellar with a side of sarcasm, I guess.
Well, Mayor, I tell you what, we're going to have a big party here, even if it is clouding. We're going to party like it's, well, I'm not going to say 1999 because it's 2024, right? Well, we'll just have a great time.
Yeah.
Final question, back to Mayor Perry. If the eclipse could grant wishes during totality, what would be your ultimate wish?
Oh, man. That is a hard question. I think for me, my wish for my community would be a fantastic new economic development project. That's what we're really gunning for. I was just elected to kind of focus on that. So I would love to make a big announcement about some new jobs coming to town.
Hey, Mayor Evans, before you answer that, in Mansfield, Ohio, do you have any roundabouts?
Yeah, we have one in the city and one in the county here.
Oh, that's okay. We have 2 in our city.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah.
And we're adding big roundabouts.
I like them.
Yeah, well, I'm coming on board.
Their mind when you propose them.
Mayor, I'm coming on board. Oh my gosh, I'm outnumbered here.
All right, Mayor Evans, the ultimate wish.
The ultimate wish, of course, that our city continues to prosper, and I just think on a global view. I guess it's a statement. Can't we just all get along? I'm praying for peace. I really am. Peace everywhere, in every strata, every form of society, and the world.
I love it.
Hey, I'm wondering if maybe since in Mansfield, Texas, our eclipse happens a few hours before Mansfield, Ohio. Would you like us to call you and give you play-by-play?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Tell me if society, if anything fun happened or
Good, there you go.
Yeah.
From Mansfield, Ohio, the mayor, Jody Perry. Appreciate you being on About Mansfield. Yeah. Have a great time on April 8th. It's going to be fun for everyone. And may it be a wonderful event. Michael Evans, thanks again. Always a pleasure seeing you here in studio.
Thank you. And Mayor, you have a great rest of the day. And may God cover and keep you.
My pleasure.
As we've told you, the Dallas-Fort Worth area will become a prime location to view a total eclipse of the sun. This is coming Monday, April 8th. It's a historic event. And what is Mansfield ISD doing? They're excited to share this educational opportunity with the students. As we heard our mayor, Michael Evans, say, the school district is not closing for the day. And with us on the line is the STEM director for Mansfield ISD, Victoria Webster. Welcome to About Mansfield.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me.
First of all, okay, that it is true. It's a school day.
Yes, it is definitely a school day.
So all students go to school, but the students will be given an opportunity to view the solar eclipse from their school.
Absolutely. So we have guidance in place that allows our first grade and up learners to be able to go outside during that main period of totality with their safety glasses, their eclipse viewing glasses provided by the Perot Museum, and they'll be able to view it live. And then also our pre-K and kinder learners will be able to view it via a live stream.
Okay, help me out here. You used a phrase I'm not aware with, guidance in place. What does that mean?
That's just how we guide our campuses to be able to open up this opportunity for our learners while keeping safety and security top of mind.
All right. So the eclipse is happening about 1:40 in the afternoon. Say that my third grader is going to be at school, and I would like to share this experience with my third grader. Are visitors going to be allowed on campus?
No, our campuses have communicated to our community that the campuses will be closed to visitors from 1:20 to 2 p.m. That's just to help with that foot traffic, because we've got specific activities at several of our campuses planned, and to keep that front office chaos that can happen during this time to a minimum, and that way we can, again, focus on that safety and security. If you think of our average middle school campus, 600, 700 kids, if even a quarter of those parents want to come and share that opportunity, we're looking at a couple of hundred families or parents trying to process through our front office at that time.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be a little chaotic trying to process, especially all the parents at one given time. Talk about the significance then, because you're a STEM director. Part of STEM is an acronym for science. What are you expecting the students to get out of this from a science standpoint?
From a science standpoint, not only is it just almost a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, being that Mansfield is in that location or path of totality. And so a solar eclipse will happen frequently in the world, but it's not often that a community will be in that path of totality. And so what we are looking at is not only will they get a sense of how the function of a solar eclipse happens, but the science behind it. We've provided some links to NASA activities that can go deeper for different grade levels into the solar eclipse. For our STEM academies, a lot of our designers, which is what we call our teachers, participated in a specific training that gave them solar eclipse-related activities to perform leading up to the eclipse day. And so they're actually going to be viewing videos, doing hands-on activities to understand more about how a solar eclipse occurs with the relationship between the positioning of the Earth, Moon, and Sun before they view the eclipse.
This sounds like a tremendous educational experience for the kids, and again, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Victoria, is there anything else you want to add before we say goodbye?
I would just encourage our families to check out the resources leading up to the eclipse on the NASA website. We will be showing the safety videos to our learners through their classroom leading up to the eclipse, but also it might be good for parents to view that safety video that NASA has on their website with their learners at home, and reinforce the need to be safe while viewing the eclipse because we want it to be a phenomenal experience for everyone involved.
And a reminder to the parents, April 8th, is still a school day.
It is still a school day, yes. Show up. It's going to be fun, exciting. The learners are going to have a phenomenal experience.
That's Victoria Webster. She's the STEM director for Mansfield ISD. Appreciate your time. Thanks for being on About Mansfield.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Steve.
The Mansfield Mission Center officials are calling upon all local organizations to come together and make a difference for those less fortunate in our city. The Mission Center is reaching out to area organizations to join forces with them in hosting food drives this year to help to combat food insecurity in Mansfield. Whether you're part of a school, business, church, or community group, your support can make a significant impact. By organizing a food drive, you're not just collecting cans and boxes, you're helping stock the shelves of the Mission Center food pantry, which provides hope and nourishment to those in need. And of course, every donation, large or small, helps make a difference in the lives of individuals and families facing hunger. If your organization is interested in hosting a food drive, you can reach out to the Mission Center on their website at mansfieldmission.org/market. That's mansfieldmission.org/market.
And Colleen, a portion of the Walnut Creek Linear Trail from Regency Parkway to Carlin Road will be closed for construction work on an adjacent property. The detour route is marked in yellow and will follow the sidewalks in front of the Mansfield Star Center before turning east toward Carlin Road. Parks crews have marked the on-street pedestrian lane for the section of Star Center Drive that don't have sidewalks. Both drivers and trail users are urged to exercise caution in the next few weeks while adjusting to the change. Parks and Rec officials state that the trail will be reopened as soon as safely possible, but do not have a timeline at this point. Coming up, we talk high school softball and the end of a soccer season, because sports is next.
Are you ready to create unforgettable memories? Picture this: an enchanting event venue nestled amidst breathtaking landscapes with panoramic views right here in Mansfield. The Grandview Event Center is the perfect setting to bring your vision to life. From intimate gatherings to large-scale extravaganzas, the Grandview has flexible spaces to accommodate any occasion, be it a graduation or school function, art exhibition, or birthday or anniversary party. Book your next unforgettable experience at thegrandviewmansfield.com. That's thegrandviewmansfield.com. The Grandview Event Center, where memories are made and dreams become reality. Book your event today.
I'm Philip Washington, Chief Investment Officer of Stonehill Wealth Management and host of the Wealth Building Made Simple podcast. First book I read in college was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it changed my life. And since then, I've read tons and tons of books on money. And what I've done is taken those lessons, simplified them, and I talk about those lessons on my podcast, Wealth Building Made Simple. So come hang out with us. We're on every major platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube, Wealth Building Made Simple.
In sports, it was a showdown on the softball diamond as the Legacy girls emerged victorious against your Mansfield Tigers with a final score of 5-4. The game, which had fans on the edge of their seats until the very last pitch, showcased the tenacity and the skill of both teams. But leading the charge for Legacy was standout player Alyssa Bloom, whose stellar performance undoubtedly helped tip the scales in her team's favor. At the plate, Bloom has maintained a .500 batting average with an on-base percentage of .667 this season. The first-place Lady Broncos are currently 7-1 in district play, and in first place also are their counterparts, the Bronco boys baseball team. They're 6-1, and they're riding the wave of a 6-game win streak. In other news, it was a disappointing week for Mansfield ISD soccer as the Legacy girls, Mansfield girls, and Lake Ridge boys and girls teams exited the playoffs following a series of unfortunate games. Each team faced difficult opponents and just could not pull ahead. If you have a comment about the show, the news, whatever's on your mind locally, the good, the bad, the ugly, you know how to do it. You can reach us by voicemail at 817-435-2938. Again, 817-435-2938. We have a couple of announcements before we get into the National Day of. We started with a box of 500, and the free supply of solar eclipse glasses is going fast. Yes, I said free. To our listeners, you can pick up a pair while supplies last at the following downtown locations: DeZarkle, Dr. Robert A. Smith, Flying Squirrel Coffee Company, Mansfield Music Mentors, or Mansfield Tattoo. And please, while you're there, take a look around at what the shops have to offer, whether it's custom t-shirts, an eye exam, a chai latte, piano lessons, or a really cool tattoo. Be sure to tell them Steve sent you. And also, About Mansfield is proud to be a sponsor of the upcoming Mom Boss Expo happening on Saturday, April 20th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 1218 Debbie Lane. There will be over 60 unique Mansfield-based vendors, as well as food trucks, giveaways, photo ops, and free shopping bags. The free and open to the public Mom Boss Expo was created to support local entrepreneurs, and all the expo profits will be going to the Mansfield Public Library and Mansfield Animal Shelter. So make a note to visit the Mom Boss Expo happening on Saturday, April 20th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 1218 Debbie Lane. This coming Thursday, April 4th, is National Hug a News Person Day. And while we may not be able to physically embrace our local and or national journalists, we can show our appreciation in other ways. You can send a virtual hug, a color drawing, or even send them a thank you note by text or email, or you could share your gratitude on social media. Answers to some frequently asked questions about news persons include: a news person might also be called a reporter, a journalist, or a correspondent. And a news person can also work in a variety of areas, such as broadcast television, radio, newspapers, magazines, and of course, podcasts. Overall, National Hug a News Person Day serves as an opportunity to recognize the important role that journalists and reporters play in society by keeping the public informed and educated about current events and issues. Locally, if I could hug a news person, I would split my time between CBS 11's Doug Dunbar and Fox 4's Steve Eager. Both are seasoned veterans who deliver the news with just the right amount of humor. Who would you hug? Send me an email to news@aboutmansfield.com.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
The solar eclipse takes center stage in the Community Cultural Arts calendar.
Get ready for game day. Sign up for sports physicals and echocardiograms at Methodist Mansfield Medical Center. I'm Angel Biasatti, and you'll hear more with Methodist Mansfield News to Know.
What seems to be gaining in popularity, but actually is a realtor's nightmare. I'm Beth Steinke, and today we are going to explore the dark side of solar panels on the Mansfield Real Estate Report.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, I'll be talking about a cocktail that is a refreshing lime-muddled masterpiece.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news was brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
Congratulations to Carolee Wilson, who knew that Ella Mae Morse's best-selling song was The Blacksmith Blues, which topped out at number 3 on the record charts. When we come back, this week's trivia question. This is About Mansfield.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo, and are you ready to make your voice heard? Want to bring out your ideas to life through captivating conversations and engaging visuals? Look no further than Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio, your one-stop destination for award-winning audio and video podcast recording. Equipped with cutting-edge microphones, crystal clear audio recording, and high-definition cameras, we're here to turn your ideas into engrossing content. But it's not just about the equipment. We're dedicated to bringing out the best in your content. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're here to elevate your podcasting game. We'll even help you with intro music, transitions, voiceover, and that professional polish that sets your podcast apart. So whether you're into interviews, storytelling, or simply sharing your expertise, Podcast Mansfield can help bring your podcasting dreams to life. Visit podcastmansfield.com. Podcast Mansfield, where creating your podcast masterpiece has never been easier.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years' experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
It is time right here, right now, for the highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield trivia question. If you are the first person to email the correct answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com, you will receive a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice. It's brought to you by Joe Jenkins Insurance. Whether you're looking for homeowners, auto, commercial, or any other type of insurance, Joe has helped Mansfield area residents understand the insurance coverage that best fit their needs since 2010. You can find him on the internet at joejenkinsinsurance.com. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Not everyone wins on a Wednesday. So if you're listening on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever, give it a shot. You might be taking home a $25 restaurant gift card. Colleen, it is your turn.
Well, Steve, many Mansfieldians remember the weekly Mansfield News Mirror newspaper, for it was the oldest newspaper in Tarrant County. But prior to the News Mirror, the newspaper was originally launched as the Mansfield Chronicle. This week's trivia question is, in what year was the Mansfield Chronicle founded? Email your answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com. Again, in what year was the Mansfield Chronicle founded? Good luck, and thanks to Joe Jenkins Insurance for the gift card.
Hi, this is Daryl Perez, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section.
Well, it's the first Wednesday of the month. That means it's time for the Cultural Arts Calendar, and the City Tourism Manager, Tim Roberts, is here in the studio to talk about what's going on around town. Tim, welcome back.
Great to be back. Great to be back to promote what we're calling a weekend, a century in the making.
So a weekend?
That's how we're branding
century
it.
in the making. And I know that this has all been culminating into one big event. Now, we've got 7 events on the calendar, but it's the one that's right in the middle that everyone's been focusing on. But we have to start at the top before we get to the middle. So April 5th and 6th, and actually 2 weekends. Tell me what's going on at the Far Best.
Another great show from the Fleetwood Project, putting out kind of a dramedy type show called Clinically Undepressed. That'll be at the theater April 5th through 6th, which is leading into that big weekend we talked about. And then, of course, they'll be their second weekend, 12th to the 14th, with that Sunday matinee on the 14th. We just had World Theater Day.
Sure.
It's a great reminder of, all the amazing theater opportunities we have here in Mansfield. A half dozen different organizations who are putting on theater classes and shows throughout the year, and the Fleetwood is a big part of that.
Gearing up to the big day is the Music Alley, at the annual event that happens here at Mansfield. Talk about Music Alley.
Yep, Music Alley Eclipse Fest is its name for this year, the one-year branding. Obviously, transitioned it from a fall festival to a spring festival a couple of years back and moved it a couple of weeks early this year. It's usually end of April. We said, well, we've already got this massive thing happening happening beginning of April. So April 6th from 4 to 10 p.m. in historic downtown Mansfield. If you've been there, you know what it's like. We're going to have 3 stages of live music, including live performers all up and down Walnut Street. We shut down Walnut Street, which is that street right behind where Main Street is. We're going to have it packed with decor, amazing hands-on artistic opportunities, all sorts of really unique stuff. We don't want you to come out and just, do the same old. We try to get very different performers, very different opportunities for you to take part in. A couple of the big names we're bringing out to there, maybe not names you recognize until you really think about who they are. Yeah. Orquesta Mendoza is kind of our headliner. They're a huge kind of Tejano rock mix, quasi everything band.
Nice.
Dalton Dover is a rising name in the country music field. Got a big get to get him headlining the Oak Street stage. And then, of course, all your favorite local groups. Jade Flores Band was the winner of our competition, our main stage minute. She is a rapidly rising star here. I think she's based out of Waxahachie, and I'm glad we got her when we did, because I'm not sure if we'll be able to book her next year. Sounds like she is filling up. We've got pretty much over 20 performers, hands-on opportunities, all free. Free parking, free admission, tons of free activities as well. Plus, the first 750 guests will get free Eclipse glasses. So
nice.
Turn on out for that April 6th, 4 to 10 p.m.
April 6th, 4 to 10 p.m. in historic Mansfield. April 7th, the next day, MySpace. Now, I'm all about Facebook. I'm all about Instagram. We're bringing back MySpace?
We're bringing it back. And actually, that's our brand new Mansfield Youth Council.
So MY, Mansfield Youth, MySpace.
So I'm not sure if MySpace even has lawyers anymore, but it's m.y.space.
Okay.
And it is done by our Mansfield Youth Council. They wanted their capstone project for their first year to be an event. So it's going to be for youth. So if you've got high schoolers, junior hires, great event for them to come out. They're going to have local performers. That's going to be at the lot downtown at Wells as well. Sunday, April 7th, 5 to 9 p.m.
Here it comes. Here it comes. The big one. April 8th. It's all yours.
The Texas Total Eclipse. That's how we branded it here in Mansfield. And it is truly an event, a century in the making. I know you've talked with other experts about this, so folks who listen to the podcast will know exactly what's going to go down. But yes, from 12 to 3 p.m., that's kind of the big part of the event. There's going to be watch parties all across downtown, all across different spots in the city. You can find all the ones that we've found so far at northtexaseclipse.com. That's the domain name I purchased 3 years ago,
nice.
Knowing that we were going to have this coming up. We will also have a city watch party at the City Hall complex. So there with the MAC, the library, City Hall, we're all going to come together. It's going to be pretty low-key. We'll have some free Eclipse glasses out there as well for folks. Just a little bit of music, some food trucks, nothing insane, because what can you possibly do to compete with what's going to happen in the sky that day?
Of course.
There's no point in having anything else, and it's going to be an awesome experience. I'm sure you'll go over the times, but basically right around 1:40 is when we're going to hit totality here in Mansfield. And for about 3 minutes and 42 seconds, or 222 seconds, as we like to brand it.
Nice 222.
Nice round number, right? I guess it's not, round, but, perfect alliterative number there. It's going to be amazing. Really, as I've pointed out on Facebook with a graphic that we put together, this is the first time that we'll have this an event like this in Mansfield in close to 150 years, and we will not have another for another 150 years. So unless you plan on uploading your brain to the cloud, this is it. This is your shot to see a total eclipse in Mansfield. Do not spend it inside. I've talked to people who say, I just don't quite get it. We've talked to people who are like, yeah, I'll probably maybe I'll glance outside the window or something. I don't care if you're an astronomer or not. Get outside, look up at this thing when it happens. Come out and join us. It's going to be truly unforgettable.
And we'll get into more detail in just a couple of minutes when Dennis Webb retired from NASA is our in-studio guest, and he'll be talking more specifically about, everything Eclipse. Moving on, April 11th, my wife's birthday, you get an event at the Far Best Theater.
Our monthly open mic night led by Mike Gwynn. That's just growing every single month. Always a great time, for you to come out, support local performers, perform yourself, real welcoming, no judgment zone. Go out there and have some fun.
April 20th, back at the Far Best.
That morning, we have our monthly art therapy workshop led by Heidi Turno. It's a great opportunity, especially for local counselors. You can get continuing education units through this program. That is through through our Far Best Partnership Program. And then that night, Braden Daniels returns to the Far Best Theater for the first time in, probably 6-7 months now.
It's been a while, yeah.
It's been a while since he's been out there. Locally based magician and just mind-blowing stuff. I mean, top-tier Vegas-level show happening there at the Far Best stage. So that's 7 o'clock that night, and that'll pretty much round off an unforgettable April here in Mansfield.
That, my friends, is the Community Cultural Arts Calendar. That is the tourism manager, Tim Roberts, and appreciate you being on About Mansfield. We'll see you next month.
Angel Biasatti is here with details on getting your kiddos UIL-ready in Methodist Mansfield News to Know. Angel?
Attention all athletes and parents in the DFW community. Are you gearing up for the upcoming sports season? Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just starting out, Methodist Mansfield has you covered with our sports physicals and echocardiogram screenings. Joining us today is leading sports medicine physician Sean Garf, who leads these sports physicals, to tell us more about this exciting opportunity.
Thank you, Angel. We're excited to be here.
Dr. Garf, tell us about the sports physicals and echocardiogram screenings that Methodist Mansfield is offering.
Physicians and nurses from Methodist Mansfield Medical Center are volunteering their time to help athletes, band members, and performers prepare for the upcoming seasons. We've partnered with the athletic district officials and trainers to offer sports physicals and echocardiograms at 2 convenient locations.
That's fantastic. Can you share the details of these events?
The first event will be held at Methodist Mansfield Medical Center on April 6th, 2024 from 8 a.m. to noon. This event is specifically for athletes, band members, and performers from Mansfield ISD, but we also invite anyone who needs a UIL pre-participation physical. Then, on April 27th, 2024, we'll be hosting another event at the Methodist Convenient Care Campus and Sports Medicine Clinic in Grand Prairie from 8 a.m. to noon, catering to athletes from Grand Prairie ISD, again inviting all who need a pre-participation physical. And a special note, 100% of the money you pay to bring your child to this pre-participation physicals event will go back to the school district.
We're proud to be partnering with our local school districts to support UIL student athletes. Dr. Garf, what do parents need to know before signing up for these screenings?
Parents of middle school and high school student athletes and performers who wish to participate in these pre-participation screening events must accompany their athlete. Additionally, parents need to complete a UIL medical history questionnaire with signed medical releases prior to the screening. This ensures that we have all the necessary information to provide the best possible care for each athlete. Now, some people ask, what is an echocardiogram? An echocardiogram is a screening of the heart prior to the athlete or performer participating in their season. In light of all of the news surrounding cardiac health in athletes and performers, we are pleased to offer free echocardiogram and heart screenings for athletes and performers in this area at these events.
How can our local athletes and parents sign up for these screenings?
It's easy. Simply visit our website at methodisthealthsystem.org/sportsphysicals-sign-up, where you'll find all the information you need to schedule your student-athlete's appointment. Don't wait until the last minute. Secure your spot today and make sure you're ready to hit the field with confidence.
Thank you, Dr. Garf, for joining us today and sharing this valuable information with our listeners.
My pleasure, Angel. Thank you so much for having me. And one more final point. If you are not able to sign up, please come that morning. We'll make sure we have a spot for you.
And to all our listeners, remember to mark your calendars for the upcoming UIL sports physicals and echocardiogram screenings at Methodist Mansfield Medical Center. Don't miss out on this opportunity to ensure your athletes' health and safety on the field. Until next time, stay active, stay healthy, keep reaching for your goals. I'm Angel Biasatti, reporting for the About Mansfield podcast.
Realtor Beth Steinke has details on solar panels in the Mansfield real estate market update. Beth?
I have spoken about the challenges around solar panels in the past, but every experience I have with them during a sale is like choose your own adventure survival game. Maybe I'm overstating it just a smidge, but I solidly stand by one very important premise. If you are not going to be able to ensure that you'll be living in that home for many, many years to reap the true benefits of paid-off solar panels, then you should seriously consider if this is the right purchase and home improvement for you. You might ask yourself, why would this home improvement be different than any other? That answer is easy, because right now, if you were to sell your home, buyers and in turn appraisers are not giving any value to solar panels. So that $40,000 to $70,000 improvement that you made is a zero return on investment if you need to sell. Consistently, I am seeing buyers unwilling to take over leases and loans for solar panels, requiring those to be paid off before the home closes. I'd love to share with you my most recent experience with solar panels. We represented the seller who had just had the panels installed 6 months before they made the decision to sell. Life does sometimes happen unexpectedly. A couple of unique characteristics about this one. The solar panel company contracted with just one of the two owners. They never even spoke to or received any sort of approval from the other owner of the property to install the system. At the very least, we would call on all solar panel companies to require all parties on title to sign off on such an important purchase and decision. Now, this young couple has to move. So we begin the process of finding out how to transfer the loan to the buyer. We were all shocked to find out that they would have to pay 30% of the total loan balance in order to begin the assumption process, with no guarantee that the buyer would be approved to assume the loan. I was recently aware of another home sale here in Mansfield that the seller went through 3 buyers under contract because the solar panel loan company kept denying them. These are folks that got approved for a $500,000 property. Finally, the seller just had to pay off the entire system in order to be free of that home that no longer served them. Now back to our young couple. They now have to come up with more than $10,000 unexpectedly. I don't know about you, but I don't have $10K laying around looking for work, and neither do these folks. Oh, and by the way, the solar panel company installed the panels on top of a bad roof that needs to be replaced. We will continue to work through this with our seller, but it is so difficult to see the aftermath of broken promises. No one knowingly makes a bad decision, but believe me when I say there are salespeople out there that will say anything to make a buck in all industries. So if you are considering solar and you're going to be in your home for a very long time, please call a reputable company. Paul Duncan at Trinity Roofing and Solar is one I would call, or talk to your realtor for a recommendation. Please don't just invite a door-knocking stranger into your next 2 decades of financial decisions. If it is not clear, let me make it so. I'm not negative on solar panels. I'm negative on companies who make promises and don't explain the risks along with the rewards. We've seen people in all price points come face to face with those broken promises and unexpected financial consequences, and I don't want that to happen to you. Here are a few tips if you are considering solar. Number 1, ask questions. A lot of questions. Number 2, and I cannot express this strongly enough, read the contract. Number 3, retain a healthy skepticism about what you're being told by the salespeople. The biggest benefactor of solar panels is the buyer of your home with your paid-off solar system. All of the benefits without any of the costs. If you have questions about solar panels and selling your home, I'm happy to discuss your situation with you. For the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Beth Steinke with Century 21 Judge Fight.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain whips up a Cuban Classic to kick off Rum Month in the cocktail of the week. Brian?
During the month of April, I will be focusing on rum-based cocktails. Rum, the spirit of the tropics, has been an integral part of the world's cocktail culture for centuries. From the sun-soaked beaches of the Caribbean to the tiki bars of the South Pacific, rum has been the foundation of countless classic cocktails that have captured the hearts and palates of drinkers around the globe. Each sip of these iconic libations invokes images of swaying palm trees, shimmering turquoise waters, and the carefree spirit of island life. This month, we'll embark on a delightful exploration of classic rum cocktails, delving into their fascinating histories, unique flavor profiles, and the tales of the intrepid mixologist who created them. We'll uncover the stories behind the beloved classics like the daiquiri, a simple yet elegant cocktail that has been enjoyed by everyone from Ernest Hemingway to John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Our journey will take us from the vibrant streets of Havana, where the mojito reigns supreme. And as we navigate the world of classic rum cocktails, we'll not only provide you with the recipes and techniques needed to craft these iconic drinks at home, but also share insights into the cultural and historical significance of each cocktail. We'll explore how these drinks have evolved over time and how they have influenced modern mixology, and how they continue to transport us to a world of tropical bliss with every sip. Now, whether you're a seasoned rum enthusiast or a curious newcomer to the world of tropical cocktails, this month will be your guide to the rich and flavorful universe of classic rum creations. So grab your shaker, stock up on your favorite rums, and join us on this exciting adventure through the annals of rum cocktail history. And let's raise a glass to the spirit of the tropics and the timeless allure of these liquid treasures. This week's cocktail of the week is the classic mojito. The mojito is a refreshing and zesty cocktail and has its roots firmly planted in the vibrant island nation of Cuba. The exact origins of this beloved drink are somewhat shrouded in mystery, like many classic cocktails, with several stories vying for credibility. One most popular tale suggests the mojito was born in the 16th century when Sir Francis Drake, the famed English explorer, landed in Havana. It is said that his crew suffered from scurvy and dysentery, and while a local concoction of mint, lime, and sugarcane spirit was used to alleviate their ailments. This early version of the mojito is known as the El Drake, named after Drake himself. Another theory traces mojito's lineage to the African slaves who worked in Cuba's sugarcane fields during the 19th century. The slaves would mix a crude form of rum, known as argentine, with sugarcane juice and mint to make their hard work more bearable. This drink, called the El Graffion, is thought to have evolved into the modern-day mojito. The mojito gained international fame in the 1920s and 30s during the Prohibition era in the United States. Americans would flock to Cuba to indulge in the island's vibrant nightlife and enjoy cocktails like the mojito, which were banned back home. The drink's popularity continued to soar, with famous figures like Ernest Hemingway becoming ardent fans. Hemingway even had a special mojito variation named after him at the iconic La Bogadita in Havana. But don't worry about taking notes. I'll be always giving out the ingredients instructions and posting them on bourbongospel.com. Now, let's dive into the step-by-step process for creating the perfect mojito. First, you're going to need 2 ounces of white rum, 1 ounce of fresh lime juice, remember fresh first, 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, 6 to 8 mint leaves, soda water, and ice. First thing you're going to do is in a highball glass, you're going to gently muddle the mint leaves with the sugar and a splash of the soda water. This process helps release the mint's essential oils and aromas. Now fill that glass with ice cubes, preferably crushed ice for a more authentic experience, and then pour the white rum and lime juice over the ice. Stir the mixture well until the sugar dissolves and the ingredients are thoroughly combined. Top the glass off with soda water, giving a drink a refreshing effervescence. And finally, garnish with a sprig of fresh mint and a lime wheel or wedge. Serve immediately and enjoy your homemade mojito. The beauty of the mojito lies in its simplicity and versatility. Once you've mastered the classic recipe, you can experiment with various twists and variations. Try substituting the white rum with an aged rum for a deeper, more complex flavor profile. You can also play with different fruit combinations, such as adding muddled strawberries, raspberries, or even tropical fruits like mango or pineapple. As you savor your mojito, take a moment to appreciate the rich history and cultural significance behind this iconic cocktail. From its humble beginnings as a medicinal tonic to its status as a beloved classic, the mojito has stood the test of time, enchanting palates across the globe. So raise your glass and toast to the enduring charm of the mojito, a true taste of Cuba's spirit and soul. As always, I'm open to hear your take and your input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain.
We're back in 60 seconds with Steve's Eclipse interview with Dennis Webb.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Hi, this is Philip DeGroat, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to another segment of About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo as we make the transition from news to talk with the special solar eclipse version of About Mansfield. And you may remember the name if you're a longtime listener from about mid-2020 to February of 2023. He was our roving science reporter in the studio today, the most sciencey guy that I know.
Well, it's great to be here. It's good to see you.
Dennis Webb, welcome back to About Mansfield.
I'm honored to be here and not broadcasting from my closet.
Yeah, which you did back in the days of
Yes.
filing those reports.
Yes.
You, just to qualify you to our listeners, your sciencey background, if you will, comes from NASA. That or perhaps it came from before NASA. But
Well, I had a vague interest. I was a very unambitious teenager and young adult, but I had a vague interest in science, and I ended up in engineering school in college, and where you have to do the practical part of science. And so I kind of stuck with it, and I didn't have a passion to go to work for NASA, but it was a tight market year for engineers, and it was the only offer I had. I'd been an intern there, and I went back reluctantly and then had a blast for 36 years.
36 years at NASA.
Yeah.
And which is now why you get to live the good life.
Yes. Well, that and, some sound financial planning. And
well, that helps too.
Yeah.
That's too. As a result of your science background, we're here to talk about the eclipse, and the eclipse is kind of it's going to be a big deal, not only in Mansfield, but going up through Texas all the way up to Maine.
Yes, and into Canada.
And so, tell me what the eclipse experience is going to be like in Mansfield.
Every square foot of Mansfield will get about 3.5 minutes of total solar eclipse experience.
On April 8th.
On April 8th, right around 1:39 in the afternoon. And anywhere in Mansfield you can see the sun, you can experience the incredible stuff that is a total solar eclipse. I had known about it intellectually, but had never been to one because they end up all over the world. I have an old friend in Houston who manages solar eclipse expeditions, and he goes to Bora Bora and Tibet and all kinds of stuff. And so I knew intellectually that it was an incredible experience, and I read essays about it, but I hadn't been. And in 2017, there was another total solar eclipse that ran from Oregon down through Missouri and out. Well, I know it went through Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I said, let's go. And I thought, well, is there a place I'd like to go that I've been so I kind of know my way around? And we'd been to a historic hotel to the east of Kansas City. And we said, well, easy flight in and we know where we're going. And so we stayed there. And we invited several friends to come join us. And we had people flying from Philadelphia and driving down from the Midwest and up from Houston. And it was just the most incredible experience astronomically I've ever had.
Yeah.
We were all crying.
Do you remember how long
It was about 2 minutes, I think.
In 2017, what was the date of the eclipse and what was the weather like?
Oh, that's one of those facts I don't remember, the date. And the weather was going to be terrible. It was a very poor forecast. And in fact, in Kansas City, I probably had half a dozen friends who went to the big Kansas City event in an old retired airfield. And when the eclipse hit, they were completely clouded out the whole time, and it took them hours to get out of it. We went from our hotel, and I'd been scouting places, and they had a Facebook group for the city, and there was this lovely little Baptist church on top of a hill. And so we said, well, we'll go there. Well, we had partly cloudy and scattered showers, but they let us use their gymnasium and bathrooms and fed us hot dogs. And it was just between the clouds. It was supernatural.
It happened.
It happened.
Now, let me ask you this then. If it's a cloudy day on April 8th, it's still going to get dark.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Even if it's completely clouded over, it's going to become nighttime.
Yeah.
And my hope, on average, this is April in Texas, and so we're going to have clouds pretty much potentially everywhere. But it's a lot. It's kind of the luck of the draw, and it's as a dear astronomy mentor once said: "To see the wonders of the universe, you have to be worthy."
Okay.
By continually trying to see the wonders of the universe. And occasionally she smiles on you.
Well, this comes from WFAA and the weather guy there, whatever his name is. Historically, on April 8th, 36% mostly cloudy.
Yep.
29% partly cloudy. 21% high, thin clouds. Mm-hmm. And only 14% sunny. Because April is the stormiest month of the year. Do you have to go someplace special for the eclipse?
Absolutely not. That's one of the things that, like there's going to be 200,000 people from all over the world going to Ennis because it's right on the center line.
Yeah.
On the center line, you get about 4 minutes and 20 seconds of totality. We get 3 minutes and 30 seconds, which every second of that is every bit as magical. And we are so lucky in Mansfield that basically you can walk out of your house and anywhere you can see the sun, you dodge trees and buildings, you can have this amazing experience. And so where, yes, I would have liked to have been on the center line. I've got friends coming from out of state, a cousin, and we're just going to do it kind of in our backyard.
1:39 in the afternoon, the sun's basically straight up in the air.
We're still, we've had the equinox, so the sun is rising.
We keep hearing, don't look at the sun. Even when there's not an eclipse, don't look at the sun, don't look at the sun.
We only talk about that for an eclipse because that's the only time people look at the sun. Think about it in your life. Have you ever said, I want to look at the sun? Well, you glance and say,
okay, that's it.
Yeah. And so it's just natural for us to avoid the sun. I mean, as a species, we've been here a long time. Dogs have been here as long, and they know not to look at the sun.
Sure.
You just don't look at the sun. But we have this attraction here because of the eclipse. And so the common thing to do is you get eclipse glasses. I've got a couple if you guys don't have any.
I don't know how many we have left. We started with 500.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's hooray for you.
Yes.
The simple thing is you use the eclipse glasses before you get to totality so you can see, oh wow, it's almost completely covered.
Right, because as it doesn't just magically happen.
No.
You watch you watch the moon as it goes over,
Right.
and then you also watch it as the moon.
You
fades to the
can.
other
But
side.
all the people that have driven places, they get on the road instantly, trying to get home.
Right.
Let me go through the timeline of what happens. Starting at about 12:20. The moon first starts to obstruct the sun, little teeny bite out of one side. And then just over the next hour and a half, it gradually covers the sun. And you won't notice it at 12:20. You probably won't notice it at 12:40, but gradually, particularly if we've got fairly clear sky, you're going to see that the light is different. It's weird. It's still dangerous to stare at.
Yeah.
Because if you stare at the sun, even a small piece of it for long enough, you can blind yourself temporarily or permanently. Which is why, the safety thing and make sure you've got good glasses. So between 12:22 and 1:39, gradually the moon covers, and at about 1:39, it completely covers the last little bit of the sun. And it's completely silent, but it feels like this rush that everything is different. And you look up, and it's black night sky. And if under the right conditions, you can see stars and planets. And it's
I read that.
Yeah.
Because everything you read on the internet is true. I did read that you will, in the right circumstances, be able to see Jupiter and Venus.
Yeah. There are a couple. I didn't write that down, but yes, there are a couple of planets, and Jupiter and Venus are pretty bright.
Yeah.
Venus always stays fairly close to the sun, so it's a common thing to see.
That would be unreal at 1:39 in the afternoon to be able to see planets.
Okay.
Yes.
So let me finish the timeline.
With the timeline.
So at about 1:43, the totality will end, and we'll kind of go back. Gradually, the moon will uncover the sun, and it'll get brighter and brighter and brighter. And at 3:01, the moon is completely off the thing. So if you're a retired guy like me, you want to go out about 12:30 or 12:40 and get your lawn chair and your stuff and just kind of watch. And, we're going to be watching the clouds and saying, well, this doesn't look bad, And then watch the big show at 1:39 to 1:43 and then probably go in because I'm tired. If you are working, as most good humans are,
or if you're at school,
if you go out like 1:30, you'll get a good 10-minute show and go back in because it's all interesting, but the spectacular part is 3.5 minutes. So it's something almost anybody can do unless your boss is a jerk.
Let's go on a smoke break.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Say, I'm going to the bathroom.
That's right.
Yeah. It's because it's such a short thing and it's so magical. Just figure a way to get outside. Don't look at it through the windows. Go out and feel it because it's kind of magical. So that's the timeline, and I hope everybody can see it. There's some schools that are planning the kids to go out, and I think Ross Perot Museum has given Eclipse classes to all the school districts.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so you never know what you read, but a friend was posted on Facebook, there's a school district that is not letting their kids go outside. They're going to watch it on a feed on TV,
and they're bringing in National Guard to help keep the peace in some of the areas around Texas.
Yeah, I've read the Bell County Declaration, which was the first one and caught everybody by surprise. He said, they're just overreacting. He said, no, they're 400,000. I think their population is going to double those 3 days, the day before, during, and after. And the roads are already congested. And so it's a public safety emergency because if the main thoroughfares are gridlocked and the secondary thoroughfares pick up overflow stuff, getting an ambulance through is going to be a challenge.
Would you agree with this? I read this again on the internet, so you take it for what it's worth. This will probably be the most viewed natural phenomenon in history.
Yes. Texas is expecting, and nobody knows how to estimate this, 1 million guests.
Yeah.
And like you say, Ennis is expecting 200,000, and it's not that big a town.
Do you think there will be an increase in traffic here in Mansfield?
I don't know. I did prepare an analysis and share it with the city fathers who have seen it, and they've talked about the potential. I got my speculation. 287, I think, is going to be worse than anyone's ever seen in a long time, the morning of and the morning after. There's a potential that if 287 gets backed up, the fanatics desperate to get to the center line may come down Mansfield Highway to 157, and there's some back roads to the center line.
Which would be the closest you'd have to go east to get to the center line. Would that be?
Yeah. The Ennis is expecting massive traffic. Mm-hmm. Ennis has their hotels have been sold out, and part of the pitch I made to the city a couple of years ago is even though we're not on the center line, we got 6 chain hotels in town.
Sure.
And people who want to go to the center line will be desperate for someplace close, and we're someplace close because the center line runs south of Fort Worth from Hillsboro up to Ennis. And so there's not a lot of big towns there. And so expect the restaurants here to be kind of busy, not during the eclipse, but before and after.
It's not uncommon for solar eclipses to take place over water. In fact, I think this one, 2/3 of the eclipse is actually over water.
That sounds like a good thing because it comes into the Pacific coast of Mexico and goes out the North Atlantic, Canada and Maine.
Let's talk about cities. Check this out. Again, doing my research, the city of Mansfield, not only city of Mansfield, Texas, but these Mansfields will all be within
that's great.
Will all be within the totality path. Mansfield, Texas, Mansfield, Arkansas, Indiana, Ohio, New York, and Mount Mansfield in Vermont. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 6 Mansfields in the path. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say there are more Mansfields in this path than any other city.
Yeah, I mean, it's possibly, but I'll let you go do the homework.
Oh, I'm not going to do the homework. Someone else can do the homework, but I'm putting my foot down right now saying there are more Mansfields in the path than any other city.
This is America. You can believe anything you want.
That's right. That's right. And the fact that this podcast is on the internet. You got to take it. You got to take it for what it's worth.
I came in here prepared to tell facts and stuff. And
because you're a science guy.
Well, I was able to, in good conscience, do the science segment as long as I did because I said, I'm going to keep out of opinion unless somebody asks and just try to say, this is what I understand is going on.
Can we talk about celestial cities?
Yes. Are there celestial cities on the path?
Cities within the path.
Uh-huh.
Shadowland, Texas. Luna, Texas, and Luna, Missouri. Moon, Oklahoma. Corona, Missouri. Sun Valley, Ohio. Moon Island, Maine. Moon Beach, New York. And this is the best one. Eclipse Island, Newfoundland. Because Captain Cook, when he was on the island, witnessed an eclipse and named it Eclipse Island.
That brings up a useful thing that why are we just learning about this now? I mean, my grandpa in Texas never talked about eclipses and all of that. And they're very infrequent on a given place on the planet. But there's an 18-year cycle where similar kinds of eclipses happen. It just it's the geometry of where the Earth is when the shadow hits that puts it in different places. And so I think the last total eclipse in Texas was 1878.
Oh wow!
And so none of us remember that. And that's why, but the 2017 eclipse was such a surprise. Everybody knew, there are going to be a lot of people going. Nobody had any idea how many people were going. And I know people that saw it in several states, and all of them said, yeah, we were on the interstate for 10 hours.
and not going anywhere.
Yeah. And while I'm talking, let me talk a little about that. Those of you, there are probably some of your listeners who say, oh, no, we're going to the Center Line. We got a place staked out in Ennis, or we're going to see our cousins in the Hill Country. The broad recommendation, and some of this comes from cities or cities and counties that are heavily expect huge traffic, is when you get in the car, bring water, bring more food than you think you need, bring toilet paper. Because if you're on I-35 and it's a parking lot, yeah, maybe you can see the McDonald's over there, but everybody else can.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it's just be prepared. And, as one writer said, the only, yes, if you're in traffic, it's going to be horrible. But the thing you'll remember is not the horrible traffic. You'll remember the eclipse. So I encourage everybody in Mansfield to stay home. You don't need to go be around 2,000 people you don't know. You can do it in your own yard.
I live in a cul-de-sac. You know that. I am probably going to take a lawn chair and put it in the middle of the cul-de-sac and enjoy my 3.5 minutes from probably 50 feet from my front door.
Yeah, let me give a suggestion for everybody in Mansfield to where to look. See, I live down a hill close to an elementary school on the top of the hill. And so my wife and I were talking about where are we going to go see it, because my wife experienced the one in 2017. She has opinions. And so we're going to walk to the top of our hill, and our house backs up to the Tarrant Regional Water District way where we take water from Richland Chambers and feed Tarrant County. And we have a good view of a low horizon, not 360, but east and west, which one of the things you want to watch for is, in addition to saying, oh my God, the sun's getting covered up, and oh my God, the totality, is what happens around the horizon. At totality, sky is black right above you. All around the horizon is twilight. And as the shadow approaches, that twilight is changing everywhere.
Oh, wow. Maybe I need to rethink where I'm going.
Well, no, it's going to be fabulous as long as you can see the sun. But I urge everybody to say, hey, is there a place close in your neighborhood, maybe even driving to a city park, or, but close in your neighborhood where you get away from the trees and the buildings.
Right. Well, City Hall is having their
that's a good place.
Their watch party, and probably the lot would be a good place.
The lot would be a good place. My just over the last few years, I've been looking. I think my favorite place would be the Kohl's parking lot.
The Kohl's parking lot,
because it's on a hill. Yeah, you have if you go up to the north end of it, close to the 287, you've got a lot of the horizon. You have nothing obstructing it.
By the way, for those of you who just learned about this eclipse within the last couple of weeks, or maybe even the last couple of months, Dennis, I'm going to remind you that you came on this very podcast back in 2020, back when we were at Studio 1.0.
Yeah, back when I was one of the few people who'd be willing to do it.
That's right. That's right. And you were the first one to in fact, I think you said, let me tell you something that's coming in 2024. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's 4 years away. And that is so far from now that this is ridiculous. But you had mentioned back in 2020, hey, it's coming to Mansfield, and it's here.
Yeah.
You had addressed the city council.
2 years ago, I spoke briefly and said, hey, I'm Dennis from the science segment of About Mansfield, and you guys need to pay attention to this. I hope there's some municipal, communication about it. And it appears, the Mansfield Tourism Bureau has done a superb job, and there is a lot of communication among the nearby cities about what to do and how to do it.
Yeah. It's going to be a great event, April 8th.
That thing about predicting eclipses, the basic eclipse prediction started before Christ was born, a couple millennia. people observed the sky. They weren't scientists. They had a purpose of understanding the changing of the seasons as it related to agriculture. Mm-hmm. And they figured out this 18-year cycle of eclipses back then. This was before they had really good mathematics. And around the 500s, in the Common Era, the Arabs invented a very sophisticated mathematics that allowed them to predict celestial events very precisely. And so probably for the last 300 years, we could have predicted this eclipse here in Mansfield because we had the mathematics.
Wow. Well, Dennis, I've mentioned this to you before. You always have an open door whenever you want to come back as our roving science reporter. That door, as I mentioned, is open, and I appreciate it. Thank you for everything that you've done for us in the past. Thank you for the information on the eclipse. Thanks for being on About Mansfield. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
By the way, Dennis and I talked afterwards about his involvement in a local nonprofit, and you will hear that interview in an upcoming episode. Coming up next week on About Mansfield, we will talk about the state of journalism, where it is, and where it's headed with former Star-Telegram columnist OK Carter. In the meantime, this is the place where you will hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, love, or support this podcast if you haven't already, so you never miss an episode. It's free and it's easy. Head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com, and enter your email address right there on the homepage. We will never send you any spam. We promise.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor feature Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know Angel Biasatti. Mansfield Real Estate Market Update Beth Steinke. Cultural Arts Calendar Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week Brian Certain. Post-production, editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without written consent is, you guessed it, prohibited. We thank you all for listening. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Steve Casillo, and this is About Mansfield.